Hmm. What if. Yeah, that makes sense. Before escape rooms were a trendy thing, and before they all shut down, point and click adventures satisfied that itch of piecing together vague clues to solve some random puzzles. To date myself a bit, Return to Zork from 1993 was one of the first real games I ever remember playing, and it blew my mind. Point and click adventures are so obviously well suited for gaming, but due to their more basic game mechanics, the genre is pretty synonymous with retro games. Then a game like 12 Minutes comes along and shows that there really is still some life left in this classic style. Point and clicks have a long history in gaming, dating all the way back to the mid 80s. The whole idea of these games is right there in the name. You point at things with your mouse and then click on them to interact with it. You usually find yourself in one room at a time or in one static scene with a limited number of objects and people you can interact with. So what's the point, and click, of all of this? Well, this style of game is best suited to puzzle adventures. Why? Because it's a very slow and methodical style of gameplay by design, one that works perfectly with the concept of having players explore every single inch of one location and combining things together to form keys to progress the story. This genre really hasn't seen a lot of evolution over the many years. 12 Minutes has done a good job of bringing this genre back into the spotlight, if only briefly, by tacking on some of Hollywood's big A-listers for credibility. Although outside of Willem's distinguishable voice, I would never have known the other characters were big-name actors if I didn't look it up, because they're doing American accents, so they sound completely different.
Okay, let's sit down.
Great. Just give me 1 second.
This isn't to say they do a bad job. In fact, their line delivery is a large part of what makes this game work. Many point-and-click mysteries live and die by the enjoyment of hearing people talk, as that's a major part of the game. So if they suck, well, so does the game. There are a lot of lines of dialogue here, and ones that are repeated over and over or change ever so slightly, so strong voice work was essential. 12 Minutes is a classic point and click, set in an apartment, or 3 small rooms, with a god view camera angle. Because of this, one of my biggest pet peeves of point and click is circumvented because you aren't constantly backtracking from one location back to another every time you find something new to try to combine it with different things. You aren't really given any direction on what to do here. You just slowly piece together what's going on and figure out how it relates to your wife's past. Each loop, you just try to learn more and more in an attempt to figure out how to break this endless cycle. It's a cool use of the time loop trope, and big credit goes to the writing since there's a lot of stuff the characters react to here. However, this is also the biggest issue with the game and this genre in general. You either get stuck in a weird dialogue loop, trying every combination of things until you get the right answer to move things along, or you hit a wall of developer logic where the puzzles only seem to make sense to the person who created them. Or maybe I just don't want to admit I got stuck and couldn't figure out some solutions. Most of the puzzles here do make sense, no awkwardly combining 2 items together for some random solution, but there was at least one point in the game where my reaction was, come on. This isn't just a problem with 12 Minutes, but point and click adventures overall. At some point, you'll probably hit a puzzle where the solution is something very convoluted, or you'll waste a ton of time doing something on a dead end because that's what you think the solution is, when in reality, it's not. I will give credit to this game for breaking that one super annoying time loop trope, which is that the main character figures out they're in a loop super quickly and is able to convince his wife of this fact equally as fast. While the constant repetition of the loop may eventually become grating, this is part of the overall experience. As the player, you become frustrated and confused, just like the character you are controlling. However, unlike the main character, you can step away and take a break to reflect on your dire situation. At the end of the day, 12 Minutes is an enjoyable experience that, if you're clever enough, can be completed in just one sitting. It also has a very low barrier to entry, which is what's so great about the point-and-click genre. You don't need wild gaming experience in order to pick up any of these just to play them. In fact, I'd say point-and-clicks are probably the best genre to introduce someone to gaming. All they need is a mouse, a fondness of puzzles, and the ability to use Google anytime they get stuck. Anyways, that's all I have to say about point-and-clicks. Thanks for letting me talk. Before escape rooms were a trendy thing, Wait a second. Oh no.